Hey, Kwame, you don't kill me. Welcome back, Lagos. Let's begin with the headlines. So you can watch us live on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3. We're going to start with this one from the Punch newspaper, page 2. Buhari pushes rotation deal to APC. Oyegun insists on zoning.
Well, this was yesterday. First of all, I couldn't watch, of course, for obvious reasons. I was here. I couldn't watch the president's speech. But I now ask myself, at the president's interview, and I ask myself, so what was the whole thing about not allowing the president talk to the people? Who ever thought of that? Because you might not agree with a few things or a number of things that he said, but it wasn't so bad. It wasn't as bad as we all thought it would be. So who then had been advising the president, not to, or was it just his attitude? If we had more of this, if we had more of what happened yesterday, we'd have a better understanding of this gentleman, and the gentleman will have a better understanding of us. I mean, it's like when you are in a bus, for example, and you're traveling, occasionally you ask the driver, Omo, this road where you pass, and the driver says, no worry, madam, this is the truck. For us to know in what direction it's going. Now we have a clear view. Oh, that's it, good. Now we have a clear view and a clear idea of where the president is leading us, what his thoughts are. Some of them, of course, we will not agree with him. And so the next 2-3 stories will have a lot of meat from what took place yesterday. Let me quickly say that I didn't watch it, so I can't comment. People sent me little snippets, but some of the snippets were incomplete, and therefore one can't comment on that. But I'd like to congratulate the TV network that was able to get this scoop, because it's a scoop really. Now, during the interview, the issue of because this is what is paramount on my mind, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
And now Buhari has said specifically that any decision on the way forward is going to be determined by the party, and you can't fault it. You can't fault it. He says that on rotation, the party will decide, and that's the way it should be. Some people will say, oh, he was dodging. He should have insisted he's going to the south or whatever. But no. At that point, when his contribution is asked formally, he could jolly well do that. So I think that was a wise thing for him to say. And he said that, and I wonder why he said nobody would sit down in Lagos and be directing party members on what to do. Why did he say Lagos? Why didn't he say Abuja? Why didn't he say Katsina? Why didn't he say... is it a reference to...
The presidency has responded and said that the president wasn't referring to Bola Tinubu.
Oh, specifically the president. That's after the fact. That's after the fact. That's after the fact. Well, it's also good to know that he said that he doesn't want to succeed himself. Thank God for that. And he says they want to build the party from bottoms up, meaning that they've had registrations. They're going to have a convention. They want everybody, in principle, he wants everybody to have a say, right from the bottom all the way up to the top. Okay, I think that is intentional. He says we should allow the party decide. We started from the bottom up, and I gave the acting chairman until the end of the month. He asked for an extension. They're going to give me a report on the convention we are going to conduct. We will start this from bottom up so that the members of the party will feel they are involved in decision-making of the party. Nobody is sitting here in Lagos and telling them what to do. This is what we are arranging. No succession plan. It depends on the party. We are going to leave this to the party. The party will sit and make its decisions. Those who want to be the president should better join the APC. That's some kind of campaign. Do I want to be president? Maybe. Should I take a shot at it? Maybe not. But I'm not joining any APC. He also talked about the issue of what the governors have been doing with the local government, and I don't think Lagos is an exception. Our local governments are completely moribund. They're dead. He said here, listen, this is from the president. He says, the problem is that local governments have been killed. The 3 tiers of government, if they are being followed properly, would not be having these social problems. He says, but the problem is that they have been virtually killed, and this is not good for this country, because those who become the local government chairman are being compromised. If your local government is supposed to receive 300 million, A letter will be prepared for you to sign that you have received the money, but you're only given 100 million. The president, I think, should have thrown the EFCC into this. I hope he does at some point. But listen to what it says again. If you're supposed to receive 200 million, you will sign for 300 million, but you will get only 100 million. And you know the way these things go. By the time you put an axe in it, everybody's bringing out his knife to cut part of the cake. Yeah. There'll be virtually nothing left. So he also talks about the problem in the East, in the South. He said here, this is very significant. We have given the police and the military the power to be ruthless, and in a few weeks' time, there will be a difference. Wow. We told them that if we keep people away from their farms, we are going to starve, and the government cannot control the public. If you allow hunger to pervade the society, the government will be in trouble, and we're already in enough trouble. Sooner or later, you would see the difference. Okay? He also talked about employment and other things. I think it must be on YouTube.
He was telling the youth that they better allow peace and calm and
so
sanity.
That we can have foreign investment. Yes. But there can only be peace and calm when there's justice. We need to tell ourselves some whole truth about that. Justice is key. On all sides. On all sides, justice, fairness. That is what builds a society. If there's no justice and there's no fairness, you're not going to go anywhere. So it's not a matter of rhetoric. And he's guilty of this partially in the things that he does. He's guilty of it. He doesn't put things in the proper, what you would call a proper balance. And I still go back to the famous example of not finding somebody from the Southeast who can fit in the hierarchy of this, because it's vital. We're having problems from that region. So you shouldn't run away. I saw one major general saluting him in the papers, and I was saying to myself jokingly, this man can be chief of army staff. He's a major general. He's from the East. So it's a matter of justice. It's a matter of fairness, and to deal with perceptions, because perception is very close to the truth. For example, when you have crises that involve Fulani people and you're a Fulani man, in a Nigeria that we live in, it is vital. You can't ignore that fact. This is not America. This is Nigeria. So you have to go the extra mile to show that you're not partisan in the matter and not keep quiet. So he is equally guilty of this. And I hope he will self-correct himself at the appropriate time. And he says that he also faulted the state governors who banned open grazing. And then he said this. You want me to contradict my attorney general? So it
and he laughed. Everybody laughed.
And it is, so what we're saying now, what we can see now, whether you not like it or not, is most likely is the attorney general that has been feeding him. Now, an attorney general that has the mindset of comparing cows to spare part dealers is a dangerous attorney general. An attorney general who in public would say a thing like that is a very dangerous attorney general. And my advice to the president, if he wants to move forward, either he changes his attorney general or he gets a legal advisor who can. And it is not uncommon for presidents or whatever to reach outside the office.
No, it's not.
Put a call through to the lawyer that, can we have breakfast tomorrow? I need advice on these issues. The president needs to be properly advised. He needs to be properly advised because his security apparatus, his attorney general, his chief justice are all from one part of the country. And given the Nigerian factor, you cannot guarantee that the advice he will be getting on some things will be balanced. So I'm going to plead with him, either you get yourself a legal advisor or you put a call through to some lawyers once in a while. If Femi Falana here, Ejiti Ogunye there, sans elderly people, put a call through to them, invite them for breakfast.
All across the country.
They're there. Go to the East and look for one or two very top lawyers. Tell them to come and have a drink with you, so that you have a robust. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what we can see here, not unexpectedly, is that he stands with his attorney general. But his attorney general has not shown the fairness demanded of his office. His attorney general has shown a bit of mono thinking and hasn't shown a widespread thinking
That
attitude.
was a big disappointment, really. That statement about cows and spare parts.
As far as that, let's
a huge disappointment.
in this current one. Don't let's. You can see I'm scratching my head. I'm giving you a sign. I'm giving you a sign. Just to your long shadow. Shadow me. And then on the suspension of Twitter operations in Nigeria, the president, I like what he said. He said, "I will keep my opinion to myself." He didn't throw his mouth into it, and that's fair enough. But it's going to be resolved.
But do you know that I'm hearing that the federal government has gone to open a cool account. Cool is like Twitter as well.
No, it's all look.
Are you sure? This
is
like
like
a standoff.
No. See, Nigeria has to be in line with other countries of the world.
Yeah.
Forget it. It's all power show.
Why should the government stick to Twitter?
Why is everybody going left and you want to go right?
What is it?
You don't even have.
It's not a crime.
Forget it.
There are so many social media.
Do you? Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I will floor you now.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
With this, your direction, I will floor you.
Like
because
it,
I will. This is that I can't take this pouch here. Do you think Nigeria is an independent country?
Yes, we are.
We will have a debate on that pretty soon.
Okay.
You are not independent.
We are.
You are going through. You are not.
Yes, we are.
I say you are not.
Yes, we are.
I must have the final word.
Yes, we are.
You are going through a second slavery.
No, we are not.
Today is Friday. I intend to enjoy myself. But Odige Oyegun, the party chairman, back to the issue of whatever, says that zoning is inevitable. Well, the Point has a well-rounded report, so if you want to go into the nitty-gritty, pick up a copy of that.
Wait, let's go to the Vanguard. Outrage as Buhari throws headers crisis back at governors.
This is very unfortunate. I would have loved if the president had a more conciliatory approach to this. There is no law that is cast in concrete. He asked for the Gazette, and they must have given him the Gazette of 1950, whatever it is. In modern day Nigeria, you cannot have open grazing. With the crisis that we have now, it is just not possible. Somebody needs to. That's why I also said he needs to think outside the box, think outside his neighborhood. Because the example that he gave, they go through some roads, veterinary doctors. These are modern times. Put the cows in a trailer and run them down straight to town and put them in whatever in Badagry. Anybody who wants to buy a cow, go buy a cow and off we go. These are modern times. And it's not everything is man made for law or law made for man. And his stance against the governors is unfortunate because it's not conciliatory. It's like he's made up his mind, and he has told the governors to go and get something done about it.
The president said he had asked his officials to go back to 1960 to go and fish out a Gazette where grazing routes have been marked out already, and then that if it worked then, it can work now.
It can't. The sensitivities of the African region itself can't make it work. It's like telling me you should go and dig out what's this old telephone that we are and try to use it now in modern age. Life is all about change. Because it works in the 60s, you think that kind of thing will work now with the Nigeria of today?
Well,
he needs advice outside the box. He needs advice outside the box for somebody to tell him. Unfortunately, I hear he's not given to conversations as such. That even if you say you want to see him, you spend half the time talking and he'll look at you, nod his head, and that's it. I don't know. I've not met any president for that matter.
Okay.
That's the list of my problems. But what he has done now, taking the governor's head on, is very unfortunate, and it could lead to a serious crisis. It could lead. I'm telling you,
we're already
where we are now in Nigeria. This is. I don't want to use the word stubborn, but he is narrowed perspective could lead to a lot of crisis. It could lead to a lot. These are not the 1960s now. Come on.
The president seemed to be in favor of open grazing with his statement yesterday during the interview about.
That's what I'm saying.
The
for example, if I were him, if I were the president, I would say that look, my position on this is blah blah blah. But we're going to sit with the governors and see how we can work out something that would be acceptable to all. Instead of taking are you at war with the governors? You're president of all. Are you at war with the governors? He seems irritated. And he said something about the answers yesterday that caught my attention that, these young men wanted to remove me from office.
Yeah, he said that.
And I said that this man has been pumped with some wrong information.
All sort of things.
Yes, and his face closed. He doesn't seem to have a wide perspective of what happened at the NSAS. It wasn't principally to remove
I'm not
Buhari.
sure that he is aware of that.
No, he's been
Like you said, he's been pumped with.
He's been pumped, and because he seems to have confined his thinking to in a sectional manner. That's what you're going to get. NSAS wasn't about removing him. It could have been one of the stray bullets, but it was more about good governance. At least the issues that were put forward. In fact, it started against the police. That's what
right.
we called
That's
NSAS,
right. Mm-hmm.
and then moved on to bad governance. Nigerians are suffering. You don't think that they'll sit back and do and say nothing?
Unemployment record going ballistic.
It's gone completely ballistic. I mean, daylight robbery on Echo Bridge, one of the stories there, says you can't go on those bridges even in daytime.
That's right.
Bringing out guns, machetes, and so on and so forth. And guess what? I suspect the police are on strike.
Ah.
Yes, because even I was told there was some kind of robbery, I was told, on Bode Thomas, and went to the Bode Thomas police station. The police didn't, and it's in the papers there. There are many cases of robbery. Some people believe that even if you are robbed in front of a police station, they won't come out to save you. So we have a big problem on our hands.
Could the police be doing a payback?
No, they're not motivated. It's not a payback. The police are not motivated. What's the value of the salaries? How well have you taken care of them? Even since the NSAS era, how well have you taken care of them?
But it's always been like that.
And
at
then,
least to some extent, they've been responding before now.
And then how well have you trained them? Now, the average policeman is scared. He'll be telling you, I cannot put my life on the line for anything. How much do you pay? How much do you look after me? And given what is happening in the East, when police stations are burned and policemen are killed, of course, that kind of attitude is going to spread. That kind of reaction is going to spread. So you have a demotivated police, a frightened police force, really. A frightened police force. So his thinking, it bothers me. And I think that those who have been advising him not to grant interviews, this is what they've been trying to keep from us, so that we don't, I can see that his thought processes are, and then given his age, I'm not too surprised about that. And the fact that Buhari has always been and he's always been a reserved person. He's always is not somebody who I believe would have the kind of perspective about the world that a man like Obasanjo would have. There are no apologies for saying that. He's not as exposed, because if you're a right of a song, he says you bring a case of 1801 to judge a case in 1980. If you're thinking of what happened in the 60s, it can't happen. You can't.
I mean, this is troubling,
Which one is that?
The issue, the president going back in time and then pushing the.
No,
the
it's troubling. But look, listen. This is what I still suggest, so that when trees pile on top of each other, you remove the one at the top.
Yeah.
I think we just need to focus on post-Buhari.
Well,
Because you see, if we don't keep our eyes on that, we would have lost both sides. So we will lose the present and we lose the future.
This is what Jonathan Okechukwu said here on Facebook. Oh, Jonathan, I'm so sorry. Your message has disappeared.
It did.
We have loads of messages tripping in, and if I should start finding that message too. Well, he was trying to say that with what is going on right now, insecurity engulfing the nation, who is to say that we'll see 2023?
Well, yes, but you need to prepare, because 2023 will creep on you, and it's the future.
It is the future.
It's the future. So, and the future is exactly what it is, the future. And we should always know that planning for these things is not an event, it's a marathon. It's almost too late to start now. But let's start focusing on what is likely to happen. Primaries, according to the participants here, the PDP man who came, Kenny, the primaries could jolly well take place anytime from February next year. And after the primaries, they're as good as done. Because we don't want again to find ourselves between a rock and a hard place.
After the primaries, those are the people you'll be stuck with.
You'll be stuck with after the primaries. And so there's a need for us to keep our eyes on that. The president is not likely to change in a short while. He's not likely to. And I'd rather we don't have any crisis that will hold us back any further. Because Nigeria is on the brink. I hate using the word war. Some people use it and think it's like a football match. But I hope that doesn't happen.
Indeed. We're going to stay with Vanguard, page 8 of the Vanguard. $1.5 billion Lagos-Ibadan rail line will create wealth, business opportunities. That's according to
whatever
Buhari.
you might say about President Buhari, you're going to give him a thumbs up for infrastructural development. Whatever you might say, you will give him a thumbs up on that. Unfortunately, the more vital things, I'm not saying these ones are not vital, but the more vital things that he hasn't paid good attention to have kind of covered and cast a shadow. Look, you have this Lagos-Ibadan rail. By the way, the newspaper report says that the rail line was established to reduce traffic and so on. The Lagos-Ibadan rail line was established. It wasn't established. It was refurbished. It was recreated. I grew up to know trains. I was born in 1955. I'd known trains from about 1960-61. I've seen trains in England anyway. But we had the train service up till I remember taking a train up till like the early 80s. We've had train services across the country. But it has always been sabotaged by two main sets of people have sabotaged the railways: the trailer owners and the luxury bus owners. Okay, because it will stifle their business. That we I don't want a long debate on that, but that's what it is. The major people who of course, corruption too has reared its ugly head, and people don't know. I remember my friend, I think it was Lanre Idowu. Their dad worked in railways way back then. He had a caravan to himself that they could travel around the country with.
Whoa!
I think he had 2 bedrooms, other 2 or 3 bedrooms. He had a toilet, kitchen. But the whole of railway compound. What do you mean? The railway in Nigeria
used to be big, actually.
Massive across the country. There was a crazy thing though. If you wanted to take a train to Port Harcourt way back then, you first of all have to take the train to what was called Kaduna Junction, and then it comes back again to Port Harcourt. And for long we had thought that we'd have a train on the Lagos West East corridor. It never took place because guess what? If you have a rail service that runs very well on that corridor, the luxury buses are out of business.
That's right.
If you have a train that runs very well up north, whatever, the trailers even carrying fuel.
The tankers,
everything, they're all out of. How can you load a tanker with 30,000 liters of petrol
and move on the road?
Move on the road all the way to Maiduguri.
On the road
to Maiduguri. The government puts pipes in place. You sabotage it. So we thank him, and we also thank him for not following the Nigerian mentality of saying, I want to do my own projects. Because these things, we have to give kudos to Jonathan. He initiated them and started them, and we are glad that he finished them.
PDP is saying that, no, don't be glad. PDP is saying that they are taking credit for their project.
That's narrow-minded. Nigeria doesn't belong to either the APC or the PDP. It belongs to us. And because we are narrow-minded, these things are always about party, me, money. We are not talking about how much this thing costs. This one says it's $1.5 billion. I don't know about the cost, but I'm glad that also you remember you have the Abuja Kaduna Railway.
Yeah.
Okay, and our own governor here, Mr. Sanwo-Olu, has said that we are going to key into the transportation master plan. And there's a nice collaboration going on between Lagos and Ogun.
Okay.
Development can come, I hope, if we can have a peaceful environment. You can see efforts, at least in rhetoric, of wanting to have some level of development. We need to talk about robbery.
No, I hope we could, but we're out of time.
Oh, we're out of time.
Yes, we are.
But the governor should do something about
traffic robbery
in broad daylight on places like Eko.
Going insane.
It's completely unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable, Mr. Governor. Fashola in his time had these motorcycles patrolling, armed policemen. It's not rocket science.
Jimmy, we have to go. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Jimmy, we're back at 9 on Daily Digest. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Many thanks to MTN. Now let's talk about the president's speech at 8 o'clock. Good morning to you.
You've waited so long, and now the doors are wide open for you to join MTN, the yellow family that's got the coverage and reliable data network in Nigeria.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.